Hello, beautiful Aries. I am so glad to be here. This is going to be your new moon reading for, wow, I almost said August, November 26th. So we're going to be looking at the new moon energy, which is new beginnings, what intentions you could be putting out there, and how the cycle is going to kind of start for you. So if you're new, my name is Melissa, and I do new moon and full moon readings. So we look at the new moon as our beginning of the cycle, intention setting, as well as the full moon, which is going to be like the peak of the cycle and what you can kind of pluck off of the tree of the seed you planted at the new moon. Yeah, I think I did that right. So let's get started. Aries new moon energy. What does Aries energy look like this new moon? Temperance and the World, two majors. Okay, so I feel like the beginning of this cycle for you is kind of about balancing. Like there's maybe a cycle that's kind of coming to an end for you, or a cycle that you really aren't feeling balanced. Like I'm envisioning like an unbalanced wheel. Okay, so we have the world, which gives me this circle, this cycle, or like a repeating pattern almost. And then the temperance for balance. So I feel like it's like an unbalanced wheel. Like there's a cycle that keeps happening that is unbalanced, that keeps going, not the way that you're intending. So I feel like the intention for this cycle for you will be about balance and about correcting a cycle using balance. Okay, so let's see what else we have now that we know what the energy is about here, with the balancing of a cycle. Like I just feel like there's something that keeps repeating for you, that is going to keep repeating. Okay, is going to keep repeating if you don't get that balance in check. I just had two pop out. Another major, the Judgment card. Okay, so like I feel like you're kind of being called to action here. Like there's a divine order to things that you're kind of being directed to. So that balance could be what that is. We also had the Ace of Wands pop out, which for me is kind of like a spiritual beginning, a new passion, or a new something that's coming in, that's new, that maybe I feel like you aren't expecting it, but there's something new that's coming up that you're being called to, and I feel like it's kind of more like a divine intervention almost. It's there's something that comes your way that you're just like, oh, okay, now I feel it, right? Like not now I know, but now I feel it. Like maybe you did see this cycle repeating, and now it's kind of like, like you have this almost like a spiritual enlightenment, or I don't want to say spiritual awakening, but kind of in that sense, like, wow, now I really feel what I've been seeing. Like I've been seeing it, and that maybe that's why it keeps repeating for you, is because you're seeing it and you know that it's going on, and you know that something needs to be done, but you haven't felt it yet. And I feel like that's where you're going. And we have three major arcanas and then an ace. So to me, that really indicates something powerful in your life, something that is very substantial, and again with the spiritual growth, like something that's kind of more internal on a soul level, that is kind of, I feel like there's a bit of a change coming for you. It's definitely a new cycle, and we should be focusing a little bit more on that balance. All right. What does Aries need to know? What does Aries need to know about this growth? Oh my God, the star. Okay, right under the, okay, I'm going to show you what I'm looking at here. Right underneath the Temperance card. Do you see the similarities here with the water being poured here, and then here too? There's two vessels, okay? Two vessels. She's got this bowl and she's pouring into there, and get like a little bit of a Mary Poppins, like when does it stop coming out of this bowl? Like how much can this hold, you know, for it to be perpetually pouring? And it's really just like I get the balance of like it's being replenished divinely, right? But you know what you need to know about it, we have the Star card, and again, more balance. Like I feel like this is really showing us that there needs to be a balanced flow here. But yeah, okay. So this, and then the Star is also, you know, like illumination. It's something kind of coming to light and healing, right? So there's healing balance is what I'm hearing, healing balance. So there's a balance that needs to be healed as kind of what that, I don't know what that was, dog hair. But there's kind of like a balance that needs to be healed. So that, yeah, again, with that balance and with the Star to me showing healing and replenishment, something kind of coming to the surface that needs to be addressed and that will be healed. All right. Is there anything else Aries needs to know about beginning this new cycle? We have the Ten of Pentacles. Okay. So I feel like this kind of brings about some material satisfaction. So this could have to do with a career situation, a change in career possibly, just kind of a realization. Maybe you know that this isn't for you, but you haven't really quite felt it yet, and you're going to get to that place where you're like, oh, that's what I've been maybe not trying not to feel, but it's kind of like it revives something in you to heal, which kind of brings you forward in finances or a new home. Like there's some kind of satisfaction that comes to you with regards to your home, your material possessions, your work, your career, your finances. It's kind of this realization and this healing brings this kind of satisfaction on the home front. Okay. All right. Do we have any advice for Aries? Any advice for Aries? That does not. Three of Swords. Again, with that healing. I really get healing, the healing the broken heart. It might be, who's reading for the full moon was like this. It's kind of like you're going to have to break some hearts. Like that's the advice is it's going to hurt, but it's going to be okay. I get the healing of the broken heart, right? Because we have the Star right here as well. But again, right next to this Ten of Pentacles, where it's kind of like you come to a realization that brings you some satisfaction. It's going to involve some healing here. There's going to have to, a healing of a broken heart. I kind of get the feeling that it's not really necessarily a broken heart, but that there's something emotionally that needs to be fulfilled here. Then pops out the Ten of Cups again. So we have the, what a pattern. What a pattern. Okay. So we have the Star, which I have already said is healing, right? We're healing that balance. There's a balance that needs to be healed here. And then with that healing comes this satisfaction on the home front. Then I feel like we have some heart healing to do here. So we have, mending a broken heart, and then we bring about that emotional satisfaction as well. Okay. So it's just a very clear pattern to me of healing brings about satisfaction. Healing brings about, happiness. So I really feel like this cycle for you is really, it should really be a focus of healing, healing the balance, healing the broken heart. And really that healing is going to bring that satisfaction and that happiness for you. But there's definitely some healing that needs to happen, having to do with balance and possibly a broken heart, or, maybe somebody said something that was hurtful, right? that you need to heal from. That, you know, it's not what other people think of me is none of my business. What other people say about me is none of my business, because you need to own your truth. You know your truth. You know who you are. So just kind of healing from maybe possibly some harsh words there. But it does bring some happiness. So we've got to work on that healing, it looks like. All right. Let's see. So we got that advice. Let's see what happens if you follow the advice. What happens when Aries heals these? What happens when Aries heals? Those. Okay, so we have the Eight of Cups. It's definitely going to be a journey. There's a path here. This is kind of leaving something behind. And I feel like this is what we're leaving behind, this burden. There's a burden that gets left behind, and you move on to a more emotionally fulfilling path. But there's definitely, it takes you on a new path away from this burden. So we definitely have that healing to work on. But once we get to the healing and we get through the healing, which might hurt a little bit, then really you're walking away from a burden. And you know, this one, it really kind of feels like it's not really a hard decision to walk away from. But it's not easy either, if that makes sense. Like there's an investment that was put in here. For me, eights are like, it's the infinity sign. It's reciprocation. What you put out comes back. And it's kind of like feeling like you're not getting what you put into a situation, and that's why you're walking away. And I feel like what you're putting into this situation is you're carrying a heavy load. You're carrying the burden, right? And when you heal from this, it's like you leave that burden behind. You know, you put in a lot of work, and there was a lot invested, and you're leaving that behind and entering onto a new path. Again, that new path with this as well, right? Going with the flow down here. I feel like there's been some resistance. You've been resisting some changes. There's been some, you're hitting a wall when it comes to balance. Like, you know, like you're trying to put in effort and you're expecting somebody else to put in equal effort so that things are balanced. Whether that be work or relationship, because we kind of have both out there. And it could be a balance between the two that's being affected, however it resonates for you. But I feel like the key here is working on that balance and healing from an imbalanced load, an imbalanced cycle that keeps repeating itself. But once we get that healing done and that balance kind of back restored, then you're walking on a new path away from such a heavy burden. So that's what I have for the beginning of this cycle for you. It looks like it's a good start, but it's also going to be kind of, it's going to be work. You're going to have to put in the work to get that healing done. I can't wait to see what the full moon looks like for you, to see what, you know, how much work is actually like can come to the surface and heal. And then we're looking at that full moon ahead that where you can release this burden. So I look forward to the next reading. I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, have a blessed day.